So, did you hit live?
Yeah.
Oh, we've been live for some minutes. I mean, that's a long time to not say anything.
Well, no one joined.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, today is the Gundicha margin pastime. I'll read it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Today is also the disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit and the disappearance day of the seventh Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, very nice arrangement here of different, right? I got that right? You checked? Mukunda sent all those things, right?
Yeah.
Disappearance, Gadadhar Pandit, disappearance, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Gundicha margin.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about all of them today. We'll try. But let us. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jai Satchinandana Jaya Gaura Hari. Adadada Pranadana Nadiya Vihari. Jai Satchinandana Jaya Gaura Hari. Adadada Pranadana Sankirtan Vihari. So, I don't know how much I can really. Please don't do that, Leo. I don't know how much I can really get into comprehensively all of the amazing pastimes and personalities that have taken place on this day. But we will at least try to say their name, ask for their blessings, and say Ki Jai. So, Shri Gadadhar Pandit Ki Jai. Gadadhar Pandit is the most intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya, and it's actually the covered incarnation of Radharani herself in this Gora Lila. You know, when Radharani knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to come and experience her sentiments and moods and see what it is in Krishna that is so attractive, and wanted to relish this taste of what she's tasting. So when that happened, Radharani was very worried about Krishna, because Radharani actually experiences the pinnacles of pleasure and pain. You know, in separation from Krishna, the pain is so high due to her intense love, even though she's experiencing it as bliss, but it's externally looking like intense pain. So Radharani knew that she should come and also assist Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through these pastimes, the intensities of her experiences of Madanakya Mahabhav, the highest pinnacles of where Prem can go. So anyhow, Prem being divine love. So Gadadhar Pandit is actually the covered incarnation of Radharani, and Gadadhar Pandit, even a lot of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Radha and Krishna, and right here we're worshipping Gauri Nitai, but the Gaudiya Vaishnavas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur and many others who had this understanding and mood, they would worship Gaura Gadadhar. So in Navadvip, many temples will worship Gaura Gadadhar actually. It's like worshipping Radha and Krishna. So Gadadhar Pandit is no small personality. He's really the topmost personality for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And his mood of always wanting to recite the Srimad Bhagavatam to Lord Chaitanya and to always assist him in his first in all kinds of aspects, praying for his devotional well-being as he's a proud scholar in his youth, and then eventually always wanting to assist him in his pastimes, and especially the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya were him in intense separation from Krishna. You know, he is Krishna, but he's feeling intense separation from Vrindavan Leela Krishna. So, so Radharani knew, because that's her mood many times. So she, Gadadhar Pandit would always try to pacify Lord Chaitanya by reading, do you know what, to him? The Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and Lord Chaitanya actually left this world in the very deity that was worshipped by Gadadhar Pandit, the Tota Gopinath deity, where he went in and very loudly called for Krishna, and the devotees ran in to see what happened, and he had disappeared into the deity. They could not find him. And that was the last Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ever seen in this world. This was actually happened at the place Gadadhar Pandit worshipped, his temple called Tota Gopinath Temple in Puri. So, Gadadhar Pandit ki jai. So, really high class personality, deserves a full class of itself. But then again, now, the only reason we know about Gadadhar Pandit, and the only reason we know about all of these things, is because, Abhiram, because the seventh Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, had re-established this Gaudiya Vaishnavism when it was all but lost in this world. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is no small personality. Srila Prabhupada's works, all of them are inspired by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The monumental achievements Bhaktivinoda Thakur performed as not only an ideal Grihastha devotee, but just a completely empowered personality. He's written hundreds of literatures. If you read any of his literatures, they're so deep and so much saturated with not only devotional conclusions in the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage, but he's so well educated worldwide that he makes things very relatable also to the Westerners, and he was always thinking about how to share these universal teachings also with the people of all classes, creeds, races, societies. So he was really a revolutionary, and how glorious it was. He was so revolutionary in his cultivation of bhakti and the mercy he received from the Vaishnavas, and especially Jagannath Das Babaji, and how he was always working very hard to not only on his own bhajan and completely empowered, but also in sharing Krishna consciousness with everyone, and raising such a child as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who was such a powerful Vaishnava. Such a personality is not ordinary, and only someone like Bhaktivinoda Thakur could ever raise such a child as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. I mean, the sheer brilliance and devotional vigor that he had it's completely unordinary. Completely transcendental, actually. So this was due to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's pure Vaishnavism and the mercy he received. So, yeah, everything that we're doing is, I can't get into all of the achievements, but everything that we're doing is simply because of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was his predictions that Srila Prabhupada ultimately fulfilled, our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. And and so much of his literature shaped the original Gaudiya Mat that was formulated by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, which was the very thing that inspired Srila Prabhupada. So, I mean, without Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this movement would have been nothing. And he literally discovered Mayapur, where we know where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace is and all the pastimes. He was the one. Because in India, many people say many things, and yes, this happened here, right down the street here. Give us money, Many people say many things, But actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very adamant about finding the bona fide places that were mentioned in the Shastras and the scriptures, and he found so many of them and excavated so many of them and maintained the worship in so many of the places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And so if you go to Navadvip or Mayapur, that whole arrangement that you see there, the city of worship, the holy Dham, this is due to the intense bhakti and endeavors of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So if you go there, you also his samadhi and places of Bhajan Kutir, they are in the places of worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. So you could visit and see. And the most notable is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think his samadhi is in the Yogapith, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. So yes, so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So glad to honor them. I hope they bless us on this day. Maybe Madhav, you can before we get into the Gundicha Margin reading, maybe you can take care of the next aspect. And before I speak anything on the pastimes of the Lord, I will we'll do a Mangala Charana here. So you guys might want to look at these prayers. Tanya, maybe you can scroll. You can share it on the screen so you guys can see. Spiritual master, my teacher, my guru. Without his blessings, without the mercy of Sri Guru in our life, we have nothing to offer. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity to receive the spiritual wisdom in this life, and by His mercy, I may do something nice in this world. I'd like to offer my obeisances similarly, in the same way, to all of the Gaudiya Guru Varga, including our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit, who are all part of that Varga. And then, finally, I'd like to offer my obeisances unto my spiritual brothers and sisters here. Vanchakalpa Trivishta Kripasandu Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. The only one here is not my spiritual sister, is my wife. Yes, yes. The only one here is not. My son, I don't know if he can be considered my brother. Why not? But my wife is not my sister. It said you should see every woman as mother or sister except one's wife. So that should be the case there. So anyhow, now let's read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's very rare, but you know what? It's actually so nice. Maybe it would be nice if once a week we also went through Chaitanya Charitamrita together. It might be a really nice activity for me. But let's see. So you said it was chapter 12, Madam? The cleansing of the Gundicha temple. All right. So let's see the summary here. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur summarizes this chapter as follows. The king of Orissa, Maharaj Prataparudra, tried his best to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees informed the Lord about the king's desire, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not agree to see him. At that time, Sri Nityananda Prabhu devised a plan, and he sent a piece of the Lord's outward garment to the king. The next day, when Ramananda Roy again entreated Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see the king, the Lord, denying the request, asked Ramananda Roy to bring the king's son before him. The prince visited the Lord dressed like a Vaishnava, and this awkward remembrance of Krishna. This awakened remembrance of Krishna. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered the son of Maharaj Prataparudra. So, if you don't know, Maharaj Prataparudra was a king. He was a great devotee of the Lord, but the Lord was in sannyasi vesh. So, a Vaishnava, one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, he always observes Maryada. Maryada is proper etiquette, to the best of his ability. There may be circumstances where Maryada cannot be observed, but the Vaishnava should always fight to observe Maryada. So, Lord Chaitanya, even though he had attraction to the devotion of Maharaj Prataparudra, due to Maharaj Prataparudra being a king, Lord Chaitanya would not associate with him. So they had to, all the devotees though, they saw Maharaj Prataparudra's devotion, so they kept trying to get Lord Chaitanya to give his mercy to him. But he was fighting not to, so eventually in this chapter, it's said that the son is non-different than the father, so they got him to give his mercy to Maharaj Prataparudra's son. Eventually Maharaj Prataparudra does get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, but in a very special way during the Ratha Yatra festival. Yes?
Why would the prince and the king be different? I mean, the prince is like in line to be king and growing up, it seems as though
He was like a 5-year-old boy.
Okay.
So it was a little, or a very young boy. Yeah, he was sent in like the dress of like, not an infant, but he was in the dress of like a little Krishna. Yeah, he was sent like this. So he, all the devotees helped. But yeah, a small boy can get the mercy of a sannyasi. So that's what happened. So anyway, that's not what happened. But after this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed the Gundicha temple before the Ratha Yatra took place. That happened today. So we're getting in this. He then took his bath at Indradumna lake and partook of prasad in the garden nearby. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed the temple of Gundicha, a Gaudiya Vaishnava washed the lotus feet of the Lord and drank the water. This incident is very significant, for it awoke within the devotee ecstatic love. Then again, the son of Advaita Prabhu, named Gopal, fainted during kirtan, and when he did not come to his senses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu favored him by awakening him. It's a whole summary. There was also some humorous talk between Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu during prasad. Advaita Prabhu said that Nityananda Prabhu was unknown to anyone, and that it was not the duty of a household or Brahmin to accept dinner with a person unknown in society. In answer to this humorous statement, Sri Nityananda Prabhu replied that Advaita Acharya was a monist, and that one could not know his mind. One could not know how his mind could be turned by eating with such an impersonal. So anyway, the Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu Acharya, when they would fight, they would be indirectly glorifying each other. It would look like insults, but due to their divine position, they actually were glorifying each other. There's many instances, like in the whole Bhagavatam, even all of Shishupal's criticisms of Krishna. Anytime anyone criticizes the Lord, even in the Bhagavatam, there's so much underlying meaning that's actually a glorification of the Lord. So anyhow, there's many Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu were always fighting and quarreling in externally, but internally it was actually a glorification of each other. The conversation of these two Prabhus, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu, carried a deep meaning that only an intelligent man can understand. After all the Vaishnavas finished their luncheon, Swarup Damodar and others took their prasad within the room. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took great pleasure when he saw the Jagannath deity after the period of the deity's retirement. At that time, Lord Chaitanya was accompanied by all the devotees, and all of them were very much pleased. So it said, we'll have to just wait. If I do the Sanskrit, it'll.
We'll have to do a synonym, no?
What?
We could do together.
Fine.
What's next for today?
Fine. Together we'll do. Shri Gundicha Mandiramatma Brindai Samarjayang Shalanata Sagora Swachitta Vachchitalam Ujvalang Cha Krishnopavesho Payikang Chakara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleansed the Gundicha temple with his devotees and associates. In this way he made the temple as cool and bright as his own heart, and thus he made the place befitting for Lord Sri Krishna to sit. So this is actually the essence of this whole pastime. It represents the anartha nivritti process of bhakti. Anartha nivritti is there's many obstacles in the heart to actually offering one's full heart in devotion to the Lord. There's many obstacles, namely many obstacles. And so actually maybe that would be an ideal. Maybe how do I want to go with this? Because we just did this pastime on Sunday with Mukunda. You know, the cleansing of the temple every which way with one's tears. The devotees all chanting the names of Krishna together. Maybe just move out of the way so they can get through. Do your thing, guys. Have a great day at work. Everything was good through the night? Okay, thank you. We'll see you guys later. Let's see. So anyhow, so this whole process of cleansing externally, even, this is one of the symptoms of a Vaishnava, and especially a spiritual master, we should sing every day. Shri Vigraharadana Nityanana Shringaratan Mandira Marjanado. One of the symptoms of spiritual masters, they keep the temple clean. So then they do it, and then Yuktasya Bhaktams, they're doing Chani and Jatopi, and Bhaktams, Chani and Jatopi, they're engaging the Bhaktas in doing it as well. So Lord Chaitanya was being the ideal spiritual master and engaging all the devotees in cleaning the temple. We should understand this principle. Things meant for the worship of the Lord should be of the utmost purity, the highest standards that we can practically offer, and with the most sincerity that one can do. So the reason I want to clean the garage is because for Janmashtami, that will become an extension of the temple. And I don't know if you were here. Were you here at the Janmashtami we had out in the garage? Yeah, so it's ideal actually for Janmashtami with the amount of people that the garage is open for prasadam distribution and so many things
How
like
do you
this.
get cooking, right?
I don't know if we didn't use the garage last year though.
Yeah, we did.
I
We
don't, did we?
served out there. We just didn't clear it all.
Yeah, but we actually had the program out in the garage the one year.
Yeah, that was like,
But
I
thank
was there.
you were also there that time.
No, not that time. I was there from last 2 days.
Oh, okay. I think it was 2 Janmashtamis ago. We were out there. I don't know,
I
but
wasn't here for that one.
that
Oh,
was 3 years ago.
that was
I
3
think
years
was-
ago.
Yeah, I think 3 years.
Wow,
Wait,
okay.
I was not there.
The years blur by now at this point. So we've been doing this a while. So anyhow,
So you did Abhishek.
what?
Because we did Abhishek.
Yeah, we tried so many things over the years. So anyhow, there's so many, just like when you clean the temple, there's so many little parts of crevices of dust and this and that, and if you look, Mukunda was right, if you really look under everything and get every corner and this and that, you'll find so many dirty things. And the representation is that's actually happening in the heart. You would think, oh yes, I'm a devotee, I'm situated in such bhakti. But actually, what happens is if you get that pride, is Krishna will send all kinds of circumstances that will prove to you just how much of not of a devotee you are, and that how you're quite dirty in this place, that place, this place, this place, and this place. So just like when we clean the temple, and when we externally try to worship the Lord, and it was highlighted by Mukunda Prabhu in this pastime as he read through the pastime, how to get every nook and corner and cranny that you can for the Lord's worship. But similarly in the heart, there's so many inner crevices that really need to be scrubbed and cleaned and worked through. So that's that should be done under the guidance, like the whole cleansing of the Gundicha Marjan was, or the whole cleansing the Gundicha Mandir was done under the guidance of Lord Chaitanya, so it should also be done under the guidance of the spiritual master, or your most senior Vaishnavas who are observing you, watching you, and can tell where some adjustments ideally could be made. So this is the process here. I'm gonna skip all of the Prataparija part. And we will go. So where? So there's many parts with this. Anyhow, wow, 60 of the verses were on this. This is him giving mercy to Prataparja's son. But now, is the okay? When these 3 people came before the Lord, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he first of all called for Kashi Mishra, then for the superintendent of the temple, and then for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Krishna took my wife out of the room, so now her suggestion of going through all the Bengali will also go out of the room. When these 3 people came before the Lord, he begged them for permission to wash the temple known as Gundicha. Upon hearing the Lord's request for them to wash the Gundicha temple, the Padicha, the superintendent of the temple, said, "My dear sir, we are all your servants. Whatever you desire is our duty to perform. The king gave a special order for me to do without delay whatever your lordship offers." So Maharaj Prataparija, he had so much love for Lord Chaitanya that whatever Lord Chaitanya wanted, he told all the government officials, everyone, satisfy this sannyasi. Whatever he wants, make it so he can do. My dear Lord, washing the temple is not service befitting you. Nonetheless, if you wish to do so, it is to be accepted as one of your pastimes. It's generally seen that being a cleaner or doing basic duties, or even here at the, we ask people to do Airbnbs, clean bathrooms, so many things. I was on the bathroom floor. I was ripping out all of the lining of the shower and all the gunk and the muck and nastiness in that shower, and even of Airbnbs and things like that. It's probably not befitting an ordinary person, but for the sake of maintaining the Lord's ashram, this is actually like, externally it may not look like this is service befitting us, but actually this is this is ideal. Now it's not the same as obviously the temple worship and all these things, but we should, especially take great care for making offerings, cleansing the offerings, keeping the Lord's kitchen clean, that we're making offerings, all these things, which is why it's been a little, disturbing when pests come and things like that, because it's really not ideal at all for anything to do with the Lord's worship, that it's not as pure as possible. So, externally it may look like, no, these so-called lower services are not befitting of you, but nonetheless, if you wish to do so, it's accepted as one of your pastimes. But Lord Chaitanya is exemplifying that taking any seeming low service for the sake of pleasing the Lord is the highest thing, actually. So in Western culture, we don't really have this idea. We just think any hard work is glorious service. I mean, maybe there's big billionaires that they think people who work are, they're, so much, that's the lower caste. But in India, they have a more, definition of what is higher work, what is lower work, the caste or varnashram system. That's culturally more there. But in the Western culture, it's the rich and then everyone else. But you have a lot of respect if you're a hard worker in society. In the West, you get respect from the society. Or in India, that's not necessarily the case. A hard worker in a certain caste, they do a certain type of work and so on. But everyone should be respected, actually. But anyhow, so this is where, this is not work befitting of you. This is why they're saying this. But actually, in regard to the Lord's temple, engaging with Yuktasya Bhaktams, Chani and Chitopi, and Mandir Marjanado, cleaning the temple and engaging the bhaktas in doing that, no matter what they were born into, this is high class. This is the best services. So to wash the temple, you need many water pots and brooms. Therefore, order me, I can immediately bring all these to you. And as soon as the superintendent understood the desire of the Lord, he immediately delivered 100 new water pots and 100 brooms for sweeping the temple. So all the devotees of the community should actually come together and want to serve the temple and clean the temple. It really should be like that. We don't have that many devotees in the community, but this is actually the case. So all the devotees are getting there. So the next day early in the morning, the Lord took his personal associates with him, and with his own hand smeared sandalwood pulp on their bodies. Also, the Lord being the leader here, he is blessing everybody. Anybody who comes and serves, here at Mantra Central even. We as more leaders, we should always encourage them and be very thankful for them and grateful. And, I don't have sandalwood pulp to smear on their body, but, and it's not as necessary here in Syracuse, but it's hot there. But this is important, to really appreciate new people who render service. I've been so pleased that watching Avani come on Sunday morning and start to get involved in the kitchen and all these things. It's very eager to sing. We should always encourage, new people in any steps they want to take. So then, he then gave each devotee a broom with his own hand, and taking all of them personally with him, the Lord went to Gundicha. In this way, the Lord and his associates went to cleanse the Gundicha temple, At first they cleanse the temple with the brims. Do you also, I don't know if Mukunda really got into it. Do you know what this Gundicha, why are they cleaning the Gundicha temple?
Because
Jagannath is coming, like the Rath Yatra, the deities that go to that temple, that's
Yes.
the ending point.
Yeah.
The Rath Yatra.
So why is that the end? What's the destination at Gundicha?
I heard this whole pastime now.
Vrindavan.
Yes.
And it's bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan.
It's Krishna going back to Vrindavan to reunite with the Vrajabasis from Dwarka. And so, and there's a whole set of festivals, that even Rukmini in the form of Lakshmi, she's not, not wanting Krishna to go, and, so there's like this. So there's many.
Yes, there are many pastimes, like he goes to his sister, he gets sick before something.
Yes.
And all,
Yeah.
like khichdi served in the particular temple.
So there's many things, but the essence is Krishna wants to go back to Vrindavan, and he's conspiring on how to do that. And then all the people in Dwarka, they don't want Krishna to go, so they're conspiring about how to keep him. And so it's a fun set of festivals.
The Gundicha Marjan temple is located in Vrindavan?
No, Gundicha Marjan, it represents Vrindavan.
Okay.
It's not it's
Puri.
it's in
Vrindavan
Puri.
is very far.
They're very far, so it's not even close. To do a festival from Puri to Vrindavan would be incredible. It would take the whole year, So anyhow,
Gundicha temple is also considered as Masi's place. But basically, how we go to in summers, there is a tradition like we go to our nani house, like basically mothers. Like how Mataji's mothers. So that is basically mother's sister. So Gundicha temple is considered as Mausima. So he goes to meet also his Mausi there.
who Krishna does?
Krishna.
Oh, okay. So I don't know all the intricacies, but I do know that Gundicha is the representation of Vrindavan and trying to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So in this, Lord Chaitanya, he's very interested in reuniting Krishna and Vrindavan, which is why he's taking extra special emphasis. It's not like, the sadhana of Lord Chaitanya is every day we clean the temple, every day. But for this occasion of bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan, this is of the topmost importance. It has to be the purest and most wonderful thing. So, of course, every day the temple should be clean, actually. Which is why I'm looking at all the toys everywhere. What's going on here? But also Krishna likes kids, so I'm sure he'll tolerate a little extra mess. But every day the temple should be clean. But for this arrangement in Gundicha, this is like of the topmost importance, and this should be the heavy priority of all the devotees. So any chance we get really to worship Radha and Krishna, or to have that uniting of Radha and Krishna, this should be the topmost emphasis for the devotees. So they got everything. The Lord cleansed everything inside the temple very nicely, including the ceiling. He then took up the sitting place, Simhasana, cleansed it again, put it in its original place. At temples, especially in India, and really nice temples for that matter, they're all made with stone and marble and things, so you could splash water everywhere and clean really nicely. Where here Mukunda was talking about, if I splashed everything, you'd ruin the walls, you'd ruin the floors, you'd get mold. You wouldn't really be able to clean here, obviously, quite like that. But we do a nice job. I watched you the other day, cleansed everything very nicely. And people, the devotees here, do a nice job of keeping the temple pretty clean. The kitchen, we could always use a little work. That's a little more complicated, but we're getting it. We're getting it down. And he cleansed it. He cleansed everything inside the temple very nicely, including the ceiling, and then took up the sitting place, Simhasan, cleansed it, and again put it in its original place. Thus the Lord and his companions cleansed and swept all the temple's buildings, big and small, and finally cleansed the area between the temple and the kirtan hall. Indeed, hundreds of devotees were engaged in cleansing all around the temple, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally carrying out the operation just to instruct others. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleansed the temple in great jubilation, chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna all the time. So this is also everything that we're doing should be in joyful, in jubilation, utsaha, and then also, the essence is we're here serving Krishna. So when you guys are in the kitchen and we do our services, I mean, many of our services we do are accompanied by singing. Whenever we do arati, we're there singing. There's a reason. So everything should be, and when you guys do a nice job when the kitchen's going, there's especially when Divyanshi was here, very loud kirtan is going, in the kitchen. This is actually proper. This is very good. So similarly, all the devotees were also chanting and at the same time performing their respective duties. We're not just here to get manual for Krishna. It's to it's also, we should be joyous and glorifying Krishna in our service. This is, this is a great fortune if you can practice bhakti in this way. So, like even last night, I really enjoyed actually cleaning. I might do it every night, taking the time and cleaning off the flowers and taking the cups and doing the cups, even though many other times other people have done, but when people leave, and then I also do. And actually, I was like, no, I actually like this. I chanted all the prayers I wanted to chant throughout the night, things like this. So service is so glorious, actually. And I don't know if I would have chanted those prayers otherwise, So anyway, it's something to consider. So the entire beautiful body of the Lord was covered with dust and dirt. In this way, it became transcendently beautiful. At times, when cleansing the temple, the Lord shed tears, and in some places, he even cleansed with those tears. Lord Chaitanya was known, and even all pure devotees are known for shedding incredible amounts of tears. In my life, even I only shed tears very few times. But I'm noticing over the years, with more devotional practice, that my sentimentality or my I get much more emotional, not irrational emotional, but more devotionally emotional than I did previously. And I'm actually shocked that something must be happening to my heart for this to happen. Why is this happening? But the Lord, he's, Mukunda said it kind of funnily in the class, where he said he's like the best crier. He's really, prominent crier. So he's so much devotional ecstasy. His tears are everywhere. So he's even cleaning with the tears. So after this, the place where the deity's food was kept, the Bhoga Mandir, was cleansed. Then the yard was cleansed, and then all the residential quarters, one after the other. So don't feel bad about also keeping the yard clean. Don't feel bad about keeping the bathrooms clean. Everything here is service here. The Lord is being worshipped here. And this isn't like just our personal, this isn't Ram and Sita's personal mandir here, and we're keeping them. Like, this is the whole community's temple here in Syracuse. This is really a holy place. Which is why when people say, oh, this is your home, I'm like, actually, it's not my home. Because I would be such an offender. Yes, it's my home. Look, it's right here on the look on the contract. Nope, not my home. And me and my wife have seen many times over that this is not our home. In one sense, it is our home. But in the other sense, that it's not our home. Definitely not just our home. So after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected all the straw, dust, grains of sand in one place, he gathered it all in his cloth and threw it outside. I don't know if they had all the same cleaning things that we use now, dustpans and things like that. But, whatever the cloth or however they, you pick up the dirt, the dust, the straw, and all these things, you collect it and you get it out. That's what you do. So following the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees in great jubilation began to gather straws and dust with their own cloths, and throw them outside the temple. The Lord then told the devotees, I can tell how much you have labored and how well you have cleansed the temple simply by seeing all the straw and dust you have collected outside. So they made almost like a little competition, devotional competition. A little competition in seva is no problem, to see who can do more for the Lord. It's very good, actually. So even though all the devotees collected dirt in one pile, the dirt collected by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was much greater. So you're obviously not going to be able to do more than the Lord. And even in bhakti, you'll see, if you ever try to compare yourself to your seniors or something like that, you'll see how much greater their really their output is going to be in the bhakti services. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always was, obviously, because he is the Lord, and he's the Lord coming to show how to do bhakti. He's always going to supersede everyone's service. But anyway, they're all trying to, increase more and more. I want to do as much service as possible, and then they see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the ceiling. Where did that dust? He has more dust than even in the temple. How is he getting all these things? So anyhow, after the inside of the temple was cleansed, the Lord again allotted areas for the devotees to cleanse. The Lord then ordered everyone to cleanse the inside of the temple very perfectly by taking finer dust, straws, and grains of sand and throwing them outside. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas cleansed the temple for the second time, not only once, twice, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to see the cleansing work. And you feel it actually, even it's vastu, it's feng shui. If you're not in a clean space, it's, one of the reasons I like to personally come up here and chant is because this is the cleanest place in the house. Especially I have a toddler running around, and now I'm a little angry the toddlers come to the temple to make a mess. But not everything is always very clean, or it's messy. But you really feel, So in our services and in our places of services, one of the standards always it should be as clean as possible. Even your apartment when you're having programs, ladies, this is very natural. If someone's coming to their home, every lady I know goes on a crusade that the whole house must be clean, and all the men are like fearful, like, oh my God, Mom is having people over again. That growing up, that was always a thing. We never cleaned anything until people were coming, and then all of a sudden, my mom was like a tyrant. Everything is being cleaned, and you better clean or you're in trouble. So anyhow, it shouldn't be hard if you're having home programs. But here also, everywhere, especially where there is worship, it must be clean. So while the temple was being swept, about 100 men stood ready with filled water pots, and they simply awaited the Lord's order to throw the water from them. And they're all working together. It should be a whole a whole community endeavor. So, especially for like this festival, every day we have everyday duties, and we can't get the whole community here for every day, but we have Janmashtami coming, and it would be really nice to see the whole community come together. Maybe you guys can come back on Janmashtami. It would be really nice to see the whole community come together for a special prominent festival. And this is Ratha Yatra, this is the most prominent experience in Puri, where all the devotees are. Their whole year is centered around these festivals. So this is, actually this is Vaishnava life, actually. It's a little sad that we're here in the community and we can only get the ashram to come and want to celebrate the Vaishnava festivals. It means we have not really done very much work here, truthfully, because it's literally a limb of devotion to celebrate festivals, the Lord's festivals. And so, that means realistically, you've seen we have so many different, and I get it, people work, have responsibilities and things like that. I totally get it. But at the same time, I'm sure that everybody in the community, myself and ourselves, we could take more steps for a more sincere devotion, and that's what this day is about. So he first washed the main temple, the ceiling, the walls, floor, sitting place, singhasana, everything else within the room. Throw water. And Mukunda went through this yesterday with you guys, pretty much. So like this. And then afterwards, they're all going to enjoy prasad together. There's camaraderie. It's like this. So even after we do our whole program, everyone's gathering in there, and there's so much friendship and love and prasad. And that's how it should be with devotees. It shouldn't be, okay, devotional activity is better, I don't want to talk to you anymore, things like, no, it should, and there should be so much camaraderie around worship of the Lord. It should, your best friends should all be devotees. Your only associates should all be devotees, because the devotees have the only correct mood in this world. The correct mood is that I'm a servant of Krishna, and that life is about serving Krishna. But any other dichotomies of moods, like, all right, well, I have my devotee life in the morning till 9 a.m., and then, all right, now my responsibilities begin. And then you can run around all day. No, the whole day should be devotional activity. That's the whole day.
So the responsibilities, you should be thinking of Krishna.
Yeah, and somehow in the midst of your responsibilities, you should be thinking of Krishna, not only thinking of Krishna, thinking like, oh, well, I'm doing this material responsibility right now, but I really wish I could think of you, Krishna. It should be, no, I'm doing this for you, Krishna. This is maintaining my devotional life. That's why you do your material responsibilities, to maintain your devotional life, not to maintain something else. It should be to maintain a devotional life. So, this has to be, it's not like we're trying, karma yoga is trying to dovetail my desires to Krishna. Like, all right, well, I wish to maintain this, and I wish to think about you, Krishna, while I do it. But no, bhakti is, what is Krishna Nushilanam? What is that which is actually favorable to Krishna? I want to do that thing. And these things I can do in my life are favorable to you, Krishna, so I want to do these things. That should be your whole life. There should not be, ideally, right? But what's this pastime about? The cleansing of the heart, the process of cleansing the heart to get to that point, because there's obstacles, there's things, and that's where we're going to go from here. So we're going to look at the Bhakti Lata Beach. Do I have it up here already? Yeah, I do. The blossoming of the Bhakti Lata. So this is from the Madhurya Kanambani. This whole pastime, this is where we want to go, to the beautiful flower of prem, saturated with the petals of the different primary rasas, and then there's the 7 gunas, the secondary rasas. And this is complete relationship with Krishna. This is what Gundicha represents, the land of Vraj, where these are all blossomed in the highest degree, and it's all there. But in order to get there, we got to come through the platform of Bhav Bhakti, receiving the transcendental emotion of the spiritual world through the spiritual teacher who has this. And you can't get it if your teacher is only here or here or here. You can only get what the teacher is giving. So that's why Sadhu Sangha takes you to the next you see here. I'll zoom in. What is going up the stem? What do you see, Tanu? Sadhu Sangha. This is how you get to your next stages of bhakti. So you should make sure who you're learning from. Like, let's say you guys are only here, and I'm working down here and overcoming the anartha nivritti and reaching nishta. You don't expect to get a shakti and bhav and prem from just learning from me. That would be silly. So similarly, you have to find somebody who's somewhere up here, or at least above you, and they can help get you to where you're above. But we're all the way down here. So we're in the anartha nivritti stage. So I wanted to talk about what are these things that are holding us back in our bhakti. There's many things. So let's talk about them. The first is that app doing things again? Trying to shut me down? Do you have to restart it? So, the first is duskritota, obstacles born of past sinful acts. So, avidya, ignorance, asmita, false ego, raga, attachment, dvesha, hatred, and abhinivesha, absorption in worldly objects, are the symptoms of obstacles born of our past sins. So due to our past sins, we find ourselves in ignorance in life. We maybe come into some ignorant upbringing or some ignorant situation in life. due to our past sins, we become falsely proud of things that have nothing to do with who we are. Like, look how strong my body is, or look how great of a family man I am, or look how great of a this, that, career person. We develop pride in all kinds of temporary arrangements in this world, and we identify with temporary situations of this world. Raga is attachment. Dvesha is hatred. So when you have attachment to worldly things, no, this is due to your past sins. You can have also attachment to worldly activities, so many things. Dvesha, when you hate anyone or anything, this is also this is due to past sins, and you actually don't see the Lord in the heart of that personality that you so-called hate. Like even the cockroaches, we have to somehow respect. We also know you cannot be here in the temple, but we don't want to necessarily smash you and obliterate you and kill you, or cause you immense suffering. But please, we do have to remove you. But we should not hate, and we should understand they're sent by the Lord. It's not just some other, because we're not actually fully at the cleanliness standard that we should be. That's why pests come, Prabhupada would say. That a pest is coming. It's not the pest's fault. It's because you have something that attracts a pest. There's some nooks and corners here that aren't clean. So we have to take to that. So anyhow, maybe during the day, if anyone's inspired to clean, that the kitchen could be the place, because it will be much cooler than outside. But we definitely have to clean that garage too. So anyhow, so these are and abhinivesh is absorption in worldly objects. So if you have any absorption, maybe absorption in career, absorption and fantasizing about, I want this material thing, I want this material thing, I'm absorbed in building wealth, I'm absorbed in sex, I'm absorbed in entertainment, I'm absorbed in entertainment not having to do with the Lord, sex not having to do with bringing a Vaishnava into the world, and as the intention, and calculating all the things properly to do a proper Garbhadan samskara, and absorption in what was the first thing I said? Food, but you're not I'm trying to get the mercy of the Lord's prasad, It's different than I can't wait. We made mac and cheese today. I can't wait to enjoy the mac and cheese. It's for my enjoyment. No, you should. I can't wait to get the prasadam of the Lord. It's completely different. So these are all anartha nivritti obstacles. Second, sukritotha, obstacles born of past pious acts. This is where most of Hinduism falls, right here. They cannot progress past here. So they desire kama, artha, and even moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So the desire for liberation or moksha, wanting to just be free from suffering or wanting to be free from attachment in this world. Desire for heaven, I wish to enjoy nicely in heaven, so we have to do pious activities. Our family's tradition is we have to offer this, this, and this so that everyone enjoys nicely. And desire for material enjoyment. Because the Hindus are pious people, or even they know that the Lord gives you material enjoyment if you practice religion nicely. So sinful people, they're too stupid. They just say, I see material enjoyment over here, I'm going to take that material enjoyment. And then they just do it adharmically, improperly, because they're not very intelligent. So then they go and do these things. And then they get a really bad result. They suffer immensely. But pious people, they're more smart. They say, I know that if I go and take that thing that I want, then I'll get a bad result. So better I worship the Lord, and then He'll give me the things that I want. But still the problem is the things that you want. Wanting your own enjoyment, that's actually, Asa, you have a meeting, don't you?
Yes.
So anyway, we should really, it's such an amazing subject matter. It's such an amazing subject matter. If you know how to overcome this work through these things, you'll actually make advancement. But if we don't even know, we're ignorant to what we actually, what the process is, then how can we actually know what's dirty? We don't even know it's dirty. So anyhow, maybe we'll just read these last two. Bhakti-yuta is obstacles born of imperfectly performed bhakti. So, we perform bhakti, but we might get lost in the labha or worldly gain, or we want worldly gain out of bhakti. So now, not just pious acts, not just doing dharma, is now we're actually doing bhakti, but we have the wrong idea of bhakti. Now we're doing bhakti. I want to worship you, Supreme Lord. I don't want to just do proper dharma. I don't want to just follow the scriptures and do all the pujas and rituals to the demigods. Now I want to worship you, Supreme Lord. But, Lord, please give me money. Lord, please give me this worldly gain, or that worldly gain, or this. No. It is Krishna Nushilanam. What is actually favorite? What do you want? What do you want, Krishna? And what do we know? What does Krishna want? Param Vijayate. That's what Krishna wants. He wants the expansive Sankirtan. That's what he wants. That's the Yuga Dharma. Oh, he has so many other considerations. And so our temple lies pretty empty in the mornings. Not just you guys, here, but the... Yeah, it's practically all of them. It's scary, actually. But why are they empty? Is what are we doing as leaders or devotees in the community? We've seen that the more sincere we are, that Krishna sends enthusiastic people, and if we slouch and take a break, then we're that's why I sent like a big message out in the group chats, because I was noticing now we're dwindling, our community is dwindling, and so now the call for action, we have to act, we have to reach out. So anyway, worship. I don't actually understand exactly what the maybe the ritualistic element, puja. I could go into the Madhurya Kadambini, but getting too caught up in the ritualistic elements of things, or we got to do this activity, we got to do this activity, we got to do this activity. It's not just about doing a bunch of activities, but the heart should be like, because this is what you want. This is this, and it should be like, all right, I did 7 around. I did this. I did this one. I did this ritual. I did that ritual. I said this mantra. It's not about that. It's not like Krishna likes you busily doing a bunch of lists of things. He's looking for the heart. Real arati actually is happening in Vrindavan when Krishna is coming home from being out in the pastures all day. And the gopis are hiding, and they can't publicly look at Krishna, but they're hiding behind the lattice windows, and they're looking, and they're offering the deep. The eyes see through the power of fire. They're offering the eyes. They're circling Krishna's body with the eyes, and so on. And all of their senses, they are active. They're seeing all the dust. And so these things. So the real arati is happening with the senses and the heart of the gopis taking in Krishna. So we should understand when we're doing arati, actually, it's not just, all right, 7 here, 4 here, 3 here, 2 here. It's not it's silly. It's about actually, offering one's consciousness to the deity of your worship. So here we worship Gauranitai because we are trying to engage and expand, and because we're in the beginning, we don't really understand the process of bhakti, and they're the most merciful incarnations of the Lord. But when we understand where this is all going, we should understand how to worship Radha and Krishna. Now, I know you both need to end on time. So the last is aparadota, the obstacles born of past offenses. So there's all kinds of aparads, nam aparad, service aparad, offenses and how you're doing your service. Dham aparad, service, how you associate in the temple or the holy place. But the worst is Vaishnava aparad, which is why the first nam aparad is what? Satam ninda namna padama aparadham vitanute yata kyating yatang kathamu sahate tadbigarham. It's talking about how can the holy name forgive one when one criticizes a person that the holy name has given themselves to. So when Krishna has given themselves to somebody, to turn and criticize that person, that Krishna cannot tolerate it. When that person has achieved Krishna and they get great relish in their worship of Krishna, to then you turn around and criticize a person who is very dear to Krishna, Krishna will never accept you. That's why it's the number one offense to the holy name. So we should always be very careful with our dealings with the Vaishnavas. And actually what will happen is, when you offend a Vaishnava, all these things, obstacles born of sinful acts, all these other obstacles will just begin to increase. And if you're noticing, oh my God, all these things have increased in my life, I must have offended a Vaishnava, actually. It happens, actually. So that's why sadhu sangha is the thing that gets you to the next level. There's no time to do these last 5 obstacles before Nishtha, huh? What's that?
Maybe after the kirtan.
Yes. So no, right? You're saying no?
When it's 9:12, you have a meeting at 9:30, 10-minute kirtan. Like.
Well, you tell me. Say yes or no.
If you quickly read them.
Okay. The 5 obstacles are laya, drowsiness. If you're sleepy during your services, you're chanting and all these things. This is, you should understand this. Some of the obstacles are still all present. Vikshepa, distraction. You're like, I'm only going to chant, or I'm going to chant while I do this, and the other thing. No, you're in trouble. Apratipati, incompetence. Not actually understanding your services, with the inner meaning, the inner heart, or you don't even do them properly. And you'll know you don't do them properly if you're seeing yourself. What is going on here? What is that? That's not good service. Like Lord Chaitanya did with all the devotees. What do you do cleaning like that? Come on, it has to be done like this. Kashaya, contaminated consciousness. You're doing your service, but maybe you're thinking about sex pleasure. Maybe you're thinking about how you can enjoy the situation or money or these all things. And finally, rasaswad, taste for mundane pleasure. So in one's life, if you're getting your taste and enjoyment from maybe scrolling or YouTube videos, or I know this for me, that's the tough one. It's not YouTube, but the reels and things like, mundane comedy and all these things. Just know that these 5 obstacles won't go away before you achieve Nishtha. Just unshakable resolve, and this actually has to come through Guru Nishtha, through the Guru. So, anyway, this is the process, and we're trying very hard to work towards Nishtha. There may be some tinge of anarthas still there, even present at Nishtha, Ruchi, and Ashakti, and Bhav, but at Prem they'll all be finished. But there's very little left at Bhav, Ashakti, and progressively more down and Ruchi and so on. So anyway, this is how bhakti grows, starting with Shraddha, the awakening of faith in the heart, and Sadhu Sangha, which we can even get rid of all these miseries, and all auspiciousness will come in your life. I see everyone who comes to the temple, how Krishna blesses them. So anyhow, Hare Krishna, Grantharaj, Nope, not Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, but Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Gadadhar Pandit ki, Sri Gundicha Marjan ki, and Artha Nivritti process ki, Jai. Gaur Premanande. All right.